Hello all. Welcome to this September 11th through 13th edition of Show Business. I come to you as always as CP.
Again, Fuego here.
And I am Lindsey of My 2 Cents of Nonsense. Hello.
And hi, I'm Chauncey K. Robinson, Twisted Woman CKR.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so today is September 14th. What I will do is start right off the bat with the stats from the week that was. Tenet came in first with $6.7 million, which is do we have the math? That's a big fall. That's a 69% fall from 20.2.
I'm also seeing things that they inflated the 20.2, and because a conflicting report came out saying the movie only fell like 27% or something like that, meaning the movie only made about 10 million the first weekend. So there's kind of conflicting reports how much it's actually even made. Go ahead, Tim,
which is on par with New Mutants and the fact that just barely cracked 10 anyway. So I mean, comparable gross of sorts.
Yeah, New Mutants came in second with 2.1, Unhinged in third with 1.5. I don't know if it says 1.15. Broken Hearts, which was new, 1.1. And Bill and Ted's cracked the top 5 with $292,000.
Hell yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Very deserved. Even higher it should have gotten.
Yeah, it's a fun film.
Did you guys see that interview where someone's like, so how does it feel to play Bill in the movie Keanu? And he's like, I played Ted. Or no. Wait, no, did I get backwards? No, that is right? I'm suddenly
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I suddenly confused myself. I was like, wait, hold on. But no, yeah, someone got his character wrong in an interview.
Just quickly want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Also keep in mind, if you have something that you'd like us to touch on, kind of wait towards the end. We'll open it up to you guys. There are millions of times where we just completely miss something that is either important or something that we'd like to talk about. But we'll say hi now until we'll open it up to you guys later. What's up, Dale? What's up, Aaron? What's up, Felix? What's up, Mark? That is Lindsey. I don't care about him. What's up, Madness? What's up, 543 Deadhead? It is certainly time for an ice cold vanilla Coke with CP. That you got that right, Manhammer. What's up,
vanilla Coke?
And Chauncey's here. Stop flooding the chat. What are you guys doing?
I was trying to say
hi. You have a microphone. Just say hi. What's up, Tim? What's up, Mary? Okay, I think we're caught up. What's up, Alonzo? Stop. Now you guys are everyone's like, quick, say hi. I don't know, did anybody see anything new this weekend as far as theatrical?
Oh, okay. I started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I guess that doesn't count right now.
Mulan sort of counts, which I saw a portion of. I don't know.
I saw some parts of Mulan too.
All right, what would you like to discuss? Because I'm not the greatest fan of it.
What about Mulan?
That was the look that spelled it all.
If you saw the original or the Disney one, I felt like it's more like it was more like a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think if this movie had a different name, it wasn't under Mulan, then maybe people who like that kind of movie might have been willing to watch it, and it wouldn't have had all this, because it's, we've had the live action before of like Aladdin and stuff like that. I'm excited for the Little Mermaid one, but they all kind of, they're a little cheesy. And of course they always have to run up against what people know from the cartoon that they grew up with. So I feel like this movie was a lot more serious and like, like very serious. And it didn't have like those elements that I feel like make a story, like a overt love interest, a little bit more comedic stuff going on throughout. It just lacked joy, I think, from what the parts,
agree.
That I saw. And that vibrancy that you got from like the cartoon version was really lacking. But
the set pieces are gorgeous. The way they, everything looks great, but you're right, the color is a little.
It's more muted if you're looking for something that's more Disney-fied live action. It wasn't that. I think it was more like, maybe Crouching Tiger, because they're doing some acrobatics, they're jumping on things and stuff like that. And, there's a little magic going on, but it's not that, I don't know, that life to it. It just didn't have that.
I hate to use the word, so I'm going to avoid using the word because it seems like a hot button on movie YouTube. But it rhymes with Gary Stew. I feel like Mulan always seems to be well equipped, like right from childhood. Mulan.
Yeah, she's like a Jedi or something. I haven't seen it, but she's got like magic powers now, right?
Right.
Interesting choice.
But in the cartoon, she was a bit of a klutz, and like that was the journey. Was her, climbing the mountain and finally figuring it out and doing it for herself. Whereas this time she's just like, doesn't hurt, and she's just dancing circles, or she's not really dancing circles around them, but but there is a bit of Larry Poo to her that I don't want to label it that. It just felt like
that's kind of what it was. She didn't have to work for it.
Yeah.
I mean, she had to work against the cultural norms, of course, because there was a lot of hostility in that regard of like, you're bringing dishonor, you need to get married, But in terms of like, I remember the whole, the cartoon one where it was just like one of my favorite Disney songs, I'll Make a Man Out of You, which is like, one of the ultimate songs. And it's, she grows during that. She climbs up the thing. She throws down the arrow. Her and the guy kind of have a look. There's something that happens there that builds up, that makes her relatable in a way. You see how she becomes friends with the fellow soldiers and stuff. All of that happens, and it wasn't there in the beginning, And I think that's something you need with characters. I mean, I think we've seen it in recent. Once you said like it's kind of controversial, calling someone the MS, word in that regard.
And I'm not trying to, mind you. I'm really not trying to.
So guys, we're being very aware of multiple sclerosis right now. We should be. We should be very proud.
Yeah, it's just I don't really, and that kind of it just turns me off when they already have. One of the things my boyfriend said when he finished it, it was just kind of like, so is she Avengers now? Like like did she join the Avengers? Like, and it's like
that'd be a cool crossover.
Because she could be, right? She has powers and stuff. It's like what?
What are her powers? Like, is she strong? Is she fast? Like, what is her abilities?
She's just a specific name or something to it.
Yeah, she's just a badass. She's got midi-chlorians.
She's got midi-chlorians. Oh,
no, what is it? There's a name for it. It's
we're getting some chi or something.
Yeah, chi. That's it. It's chi. She has chi, which basically is midi-chlorians. I'm telling you, take midi-chlorians and put the word chi in there. That's what you have.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think in actual mythology, chi is like life energy. Like everyone has chi. It's like it is the force in a way. If you remove the midichlorians from it, like it's like it binds and protects us and connects. Okay, I'll stop at the Star Wars.
I thought that was like when you design your house. I thought chi was that.
I think that's feng shui, isn't it? Like feng shui. Like color coordination.
Feng shui, chi, same shit. Yeah. Screwed up. I mean, sorry, Fuego. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, fine. So then, I mean, the de-emphasis of like the more jovial aspects and the singing and all that other stuff, it didn't work in your regard, because I actually haven't seen the original, and I know that it's like very song heavy and comical in that regard. And, this seems to be a much more serious kind of, rendition of things. I don't know. Did it not work as well in that regard?
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen chunks. All I know is whenever I've seen pieces of Eddie Murphy, and if I didn't know any better, he saves that movie. Like I don't know anything else about it, but if you wanted to show me just the Eddie Murphy parts, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. The dragon, I think he plays, and they
he
just
played the dragon.
Yeah, they just did away with his character. So
yeah, and I think my cousin, he watched it too, and he was actually someone who's never seen. It was like he didn't want to admit it out loud because it's like blasphemy not to admit that you've seen all the Disney movies. The only two he hasn't seen, he said, was Mulan and Pocahontas. And Pocahontas, I won't watch on principle, but like with Mulan, I watched that, but he hadn't seen it. He actually said, he was like, if you hadn't seen Mulan and you had nothing to compare it to, he had nothing to compare it to, and he actually liked the film, but like he said, it was it was more so, it wasn't a Disney live action, and it's like that was where the disconnect happens when you have people who would watch a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie, and they wouldn't go see a live action Disney movie, right? And then you have people who watch live Disney action, they might not be in a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So it kind of gets cross wires. Those people should have seen this movie. They probably love this film, that kind of film. But the people who saw it were the ones who would compare it to the Mulan that they had grown up loving. And I think that's where the issue is. I don't think necessarily it's a bad film. I think it's more so not the film that people wanted. The majority that would be interested in what they would think is a Disney live action. I think that's the disconnect that happened with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, not to sound like some pervert, but I really feel like they, in the cartoon, they really go after her when they find out that she's a girl. And like they tell you all the things that are punishable by death and expedition and all this other stuff, and it's not quite as difficult this time.
I think you mean execution, by the way, not expedition.
Well, isn't there one where they'll just kick you out?
Exile.
Exile.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking of Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
You go on a glorious expedition to away from here. I just felt like that was a little. I'm not complaining. I think I have it somewhere in the middle of the 7 movies I've seen so far this year, but it's it's not horrible. It's not great. It just, there's some missed opportunities, and if the rest of you guys catch up, I would more than welcome getting around to discussing it, maybe full bore, because I don't think we have new stuff to discuss for a very long time, unless of course any of you have seen Babysitter,
which I watched.
All right,
which I loved.
Go on, Fuego. Babysitter, the sequel by Mick G.
Oh, that's promising.
Yeah. So Mick G. The fact that he has this like pedigree as a music video director and everything, his stuff is very like slick looking, like gleefully in that regard. It just ramps it up and just revels in it in a lot of ways. But I actually rewatched the first Babysitter film from 2017, and I find that film to be a lot of fun. I have a major crush on Samara Weaving, so that's something that probably factors in. Props to them for the fact that they brought back Ken Marino and just all of the bit players from the previous film, including the kid, who, despite the fact that it's only been 3 years, he looks like 7 years older. Like he legitimately looks like not like a kid anymore. I don't know. Just like gleefully gory and stupid and everything that I would have expected from something that they're trying to make into a franchise. Apparently they have plans for a 3rd film too. Without spoiling anything, they bring back pretty much everybody from the first film, including dead people. Bella Thorne, I know she has incurred the wrath of a lot of OnlyFans people in the last couple weeks. But nonetheless, she's amusingly stupid. The entire cast is fun. I don't know, and the fact that they do a little switcheroo with his best friend kind of becoming, without spoiling supremely, kind of the Samara character.
That's the chick from. That's the chick from Dr. Sleep, right?
Dr. Sleep. Yeah. Yep, exactly. She played Snakebite Annie. She's great in that, and I couldn't even believe how aged she looks now. I'm like, oh, okay.
All right. Aged. Aged. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
I am utterly sorry Chauncey. I don't know if you were finished talking about Mulan. I completely.
That was it. That was it. That was how I felt about it.
No.
Yeah, Fuego, you said you enjoyed the original Babysitter?
I did. I mean, hey man, it's not a great film or a great series or anything like that. It is very throwaway fodder, but I mean, it's disposable fun is the best way I could describe it. Just like a lot of McG stuff. I mean, Terminator Salvation, not the biggest fan. The Charlie's Angels stuff, you get kind of the vibe of what that guy does if you think about those particular films. So yeah,
a lot of Terminator references too in this movie too. They keep referencing Terminator 2, and I was like, do they know that this guy he wrote it? Why does he keep doing that? Why does he keep referencing the better movie to the one that he's done?
Well, you guys hear the news this week
where he's on the couch.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I know.
I was
early
just
on,
saying
people,
we're still
Gotta
in
love
this
the
week. I'm sorry, Fuego. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine, man.
Well, people were calling for the original director's cut of Terminator Salvation this week on Twitter. Did you see that? Like that's some lost gem. Yeah, they're calling for the McG cut.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have the extended cut, the unrated cut, as they call it, that adds like 20 more minutes. It's still not very good, but whatever.
So much like we discussed last week with silly, like we kind of need silly now. I thought Babysitter, the first one, was kind of silly. It was a little, I wasn't in the mood for it. I could say the same thing for Babysitter, whatever the hell the subtitle
Killer
is.
Queen.
Killer Queen. Right. Yeah. If you need to lighten up during this period, it's fine. It's gross. It's funny, I guess is what I'll say. It does not take itself seriously whatsoever. So if that's what you're looking for this weekend, go. It's on Netflix. Mm-hmm. However, I didn't like that there's 4 writing credits in that movie, and I don't know, there's 10 people in that movie, and they all sound like they're the same person. Like they have the same jokes, the same speech patterns. Like it there's no separation between the characters. They all make the same stupid jokes. They all have the same charisma. They all have the same confidence. I dare say that's not exactly great writing, but nobody felt special to me, and that really kind of robbed me of it. But I mean, I was along for the ride. And once again, Emily was like, "Don't you just want to turn this off?" I'm like, "Just finish a movie, damn it."
Oh, is she like an installments watcher, like an hour here, 20 minutes there, and then finishes it later? Or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's times where she's like, I don't. Well, we're like, she has free reign. She don't want to stick around. She don't have to. But there's a lot more to be desired than I had fun with, if I had to say so. But again, considering the year we're in, I'll take it. Right. I'll take it. Aaron,
the same.
No. Go ahead, Aaron.
And
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Thank you. Go ahead, Fuego.
Yeah, man, that was the same criticism that the first film got, though, is the fact that it was relatively disposable. It was like not as clever as it kind of thought itself to be in a lot of ways. And this film, I mean, more or less recreates that. And it didn't even bring on the same director. It was like based on characters created by Brian something or other. So yeah, man, they brought on a whole writing team to try to replicate and recreate. And Samara had scheduling conflicts and all that other stuff, although they used her in all those flashback scenes. And
you could tell she was there for maybe 2 days. Maybe 2 days of shooting.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, her star is rising.
So, I mean,
at this
nothing
point.
great, but
she don't need this. She don't need this.
She don't need to come back.
Yeah,
not at all. Although I'm sad she's not in Scream 5 because they were trying to put her in Scream 5 and scheduling conflicts like we talked about last week.
Pretty sexy segue there, Fuego.
Indeed, right?
Flipping that right in there.
Somebody else announced that they're in Scream 5, so go ahead.
I'm in Scream 5. You guys hear about that?
Are you?
No, I wish.
That'd be swell. Even if it
would be so down.
Part.
I would just want like the most horrible death. I don't even need a line. Just like dum 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 dum, and then just stabbed in the throat. I'd be happy.
And that's actually a big topic of just speculation, is the fact that, okay, Neve Campbell, that's the big thing, everybody, is that she has finally signed on. She's officially returning, but they're like, is she going to fulfill the Drew Barrymore in the first film sort of role where she gets killed at the beginning and they totally throw people off base? That's something that's been floated. I mean, I would not imagine that transpires, but it'd be interesting if they really pulled no punches. I mean, even the death of Randy in the second film, I was not expecting that at all. That was some gangster shit, so.
That's instantly where my mind went when you said that. Yeah, so like that's totally a Scream thing to do, is to set up your expectations and then completely subvert them. They've always been really good at kind of predicting what people want from or I think it's going to happen. I don't know. That's why I like Scream, because it plays with you. It messes with you. So.
But is it unexpected if we expect it?
That's a very good point.
Touche.
I mean, if everyone's expecting her to kick the bucket, wouldn't that be what we're all expecting? How will we be surprised? I don't think they should kill her. If anything, they should talk about the trope of bringing back a matriarch or someone from a franchise and then wanting to do away with them for the next generation or something. That's what I'm afraid of for Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and stuff. So they don't need to do it.
Which is where I'm like speculating what the commentary is going to be in this one, because we know that, that like 2 was sequels, 3 was trilogies, 4 was remakes. Like, where do they go with this one? As far as that sort of, aspect, I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think the fact that Wes Craven obviously won't be around gives them a little bit of room, where if they do something that fans don't like, at least they have that to fall back on and be like, listen, guys, we did the best we could without the man himself. So here.
Isn't Kevin Williamson around, though? Didn't Kevin Williamson
is he coming back?
I haven't heard that yet.
He is EPing it. He is an EP on it, but he's not scripting it. So that's where I'm just like, because the one that Aaron Kruger wrote sucked, which was 3. So
so he's getting a writing credit for the characters, and then he's just collecting a paycheck.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like kind of a red flag in some situations, but I mean, the Ready or Not guys were rad. So
that's right. They are directing. They are directing it, right? Yeah.
They are writing and directing it.
Okay. So let me real quick. Aaron Anderson dropped a $24.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Aaron. He said this can wait until the end, so I don't disrupt the flow. But we hit a lull, so don't worry about it. Who is y'all's favorite live action Batman? I hope all is well. You all provide much needed entertainment. Work is a serious case of the Mondays today. Okay, that's good to hear that you're looking to us to entertain you. I'll start at the bottom. Lindsey, you've been pretty quiet so far. Your favorite live action Batman?
Oh, damn you. Just double checking one quick thing here.
What, is there 6 of them? Hurry up.
Sorry, wasn't Kevin Conroy in the Infinite the Crisis stuff
he was
live action?
Yeah, Kevin Conroy. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say it. Kevin Conroy, man.
Live action?
I mean, it was only for 30 seconds, and I don't think he wore the costume, but yeah, Kevin Conroy. Boom. Since you want one that probably actually counts, Keaton.
Chauncey?
Oh, Michael Keaton, hands down. That's my favorite Batman of all time.
Not even close, huh?
What was that?
Not even close, huh? It's just Michael Keaton.
No, just Michael Keaton. I feel like maybe a distant second is, I don't know, I think it's a tie maybe right now between Ben Affleck and Christian Bale, but that's like a distant second.
Amen to that.
I think each of them did one thing great, but not the other, because there's like the dual role aspect of it. Like I thought Christian Bale was good. It doesn't matter. You know,
Christian was a good Batman, but like at times he was a weird kind of, because he could play Playboy, but I don't know. There was only one or few moments when he got to play the Playboy. Most of the time he was Batman. So it was kind of hard to see him as Bruce Wayne. And you kind of want someone who does both, I don't know, to make it work. And Michael Keaton did both. He could be the Bruce Wayne when he went to the parties and stuff like that. And they let him be Batman too. And it worked. And I don't really remember moments when I got to see Christian Bale be Bruce.
See, I was just going to say, I prefer Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne. Like when he was partying with those Russian ballet dancers in the pond of the restaurant. That was fucking funny. That's what a drunk rich person does. That I bought, but as a whole, I'll wait. Fuego, you go ahead and give us yours.
Dude, it is 100%. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. It is Keaton for the win, man. I mean, I adored him for the sheer fact that, I mean, Bale seemed kind of like a schmuck as Bruce Wayne, and I didn't feel like Keaton ever really did that. He did seem like he had like care and empathy and stuff like that, whereas like Bale felt like he was very much putting on a face, like he's the playboy, he's the just this rich schmucky kind of guy, and so that was kind of off-putting for me. And so always Keaton, man. I mean, Batman Returns is still my favorite Batman film. So.
Yeah,
I mean, that moment in Returns where Batman is just hanging out in his house, just brooding. He's just got full brooding face, but then like the bat signal gets projected into his house, and he's like, dun, 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 like that's so dope. Only Keaton could pull that off.
This is gonna sound like art school bullshit, but I'm gonna trickle around and say a bunch. Michael Keaton's my pick, but it's not a slam dunk.
Okay.
I think Ben Affleck for moments in the 2010s that he's been Batman, when he hasn't been speaking, there have been numerous shots where you can see like the, I don't know if that's what he was going for or what,
just like
but you
brooding moments, right?
Yeah, you could see that this dude's been through some shit and he's just tired. Like I don't know if maybe he had a long shoot day and I'm putting something to it, but there's some moments where it, like, he just had this look like, man, I can't handle this all this weight anymore. And like and everything. Yeah, and again, as far as the dipshit rich guy, I think Christian Bale probably was the best. But again, on a whole, if we're doing an average and all that shit, it's Michael Keaton. But with a pair of caveats, asterisks.
I think it also depends how you see Batman, right? Like, I'm a Batman fangirl, right? Like, I like him. First, I don't think Bruce Wayne is like a jerk, right? I think maybe he puts on the thing of, I'm well off and I don't pay attention to the world, but it's never been like callous about it, right? Like he has a lot of philanthropy and things like that when he goes like in the cartoons, all of that. He always was giving to charities and stuff. He just always just seemed like, I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. That was his thing. So when I saw that, I do remember now that scene you're talking about, but it was like, I don't know. I was just like, that's not Bruce. Bruce isn't a like necessarily jerk. He's just not a he's one of those aloof type rich people, not necessarily a pompous one. You know what I mean? And then I think with Batman on that and his alter ego, I think it depends on which era of Batman you like. Do you like him tired and I'm just getting too tired of this whole thing, or do you like him when he's in the fit of battle and he still feels his purpose in it all? And I tend to feel like Michael Keaton kind of embodied that one, but that's the Batman I like. That's the embodiment of the Batman I like, although he's had different evolutions and different ways you catch him depending on whether it's Batman Beyond and the cartoons and things like that. So
it's also a sign of the times too. Like you can't drop Michael Keaton's Batman into Christopher Nolan's movies. It just wouldn't fit. Like,
could you imagine a Christopher Nolan movie with like a series of mirrors built on top of the Wayne Manor to reflect the bat signal?
Yeah, although they're still about to reincorporate Keaton, in this Flash, sort of situation that they're going about, and although lots of people are still speculating, like Ezra Miller and the nastiness of that confrontation that has still not been properly addressed with that woman. What the hell? I don't know. I'm still skeptical. So.
Yeah, it's
weird how little we have heard about that since the news initially broke about that.
Yeah, can we cleanse?
What was that?
What was that? Go ahead.
What did he do?
Touchy.
Yeah. Well, it was like choking out like some fervent fan from what we saw.
Wasn't
and
that?
It was actually captured on somebody.
But did she ask him to do that or something? Like it was like he was playing around with her or something.
Well, was it?
And that's
is that
conflicting reports?
That's what I heard initially. Like they were playing around and he was doing it like playfully to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if that's the case, like, and it's just been blown out of proportion, that's a completely different scenario. So
it still gets addressed all the time though. So who knows?
Yeah.
See if I can find anything real quick.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time. See me, I just have a mouth. That's all. I'll never touch anybody, but I might offend you with my mouth, but that's it. That's it. That'll get me canceled. Never mind. So
obviously it can't have been. It's been weird. Like if he did attack someone, like why is he still in Fantastic Beasts? Why is he still in Justice League? If it was just like a cute little innocent thing that got blown out of proportion, that's different. So
yeah, I mean Amber Heard, they have slowly but surely been like, who?
Still?
Yeah, they're slowly, but they're extracting her slowly.
It's
not going to be a lot of stuff.
They're just stepping away from her in the picture.
I think she's getting more and more. I think she's getting blacklisted pretty much.
Oh, absolutely. What's his face? The guy who did the Tommy Wiseau movie? Seems like you can't find him anymore.
James Franco.
Yes, James Franco. Yes.
Oh yeah, because everything that came out about him.
Mm-hmm. In my head, I was like, wait, you just asked what happened to the Tommy Wiseau guy movie? You mean Tommy Wiseau?
No, he's just a bad actor, CP. There's a big difference.
I watched a trailer of this big time shark movie that was supposed to come out that he was doing. And,
Tommy Wiseau, right?
Yeah, shark movie. It looks so bad, and
we did a trailer reaction on the horror show to it, Chauncey, and we were just like, okay.
No, you can't be a part of the joke. You can't. Do your movie. We'll laugh. We'll have a good time. But you can't be in on it because you're not. You're not a comedic writer. That you've got I don't know, what do you call it? Magic in a bottle? Wait, what is that? What's that phrase?
Lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle. Man.
Yeah.
Help me, brain. Just fix yourself. Which one of you gentlemen is looking at our pushed dates? Because 2020 just looks awful more and more as the weeks pass. So Antebellum.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, Black Widow is still standing pat is the weirdest thing, right? I mean, the fact that they released a new poster, I think today, and they are seemingly still going to release November 6th is what we are still anticipating.
It's Disney. They're going to release it. If you don't want to watch it, $35 Disney Plus. Now what?
It makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
You're not
I mean, Tenet was a test experiment, though, right, guys? I mean, that was the one where I genuinely think that there was a lot of industry peeps that were doing like a wait and see sort of scenario with how that was going to perform in both the domestic and the international box office, and it's done pretty well.
International is doing okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. But here at home, and here and Canada has very profoundly lockdown stuff and like taking care of their shit a lot better, and still nobody cares. So I don't know. I would not be surprised if Black Widow does, with all of this time, still over a month until the prospective release date, if it does pull a Mulan. I wouldn't be shocked. So.
I don't like that we don't have access to the VOD numbers completely. Listen, if you wanna cook your books, that's one thing, but give me something to report. You used to love talking about how many billions you made in the box office. All right, well, give us a number. Give us a number that isn't Netflix. Oh yeah, no, 56 million people watched The Wedding Do-Over. Yeah, no, we know. Whatever, Netflix. Is that start to finish because you're drunk?
Well, I think it's like in a lot of ways they're still trying to figure out like what these numbers mean. Like when I think the first time I really started hearing about numbers being thrown about for a movie was Bright, and they talked about how like if we convert each view into like a ticket sold.
That should be the number. Just views. That always should have been the number. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, no. I mean, you're right and you're wrong, but you do need to consider that not everyone who's willing to, just like watch a movie at home on the couch will also go to the theater to see that movie.
Right.
It's not a 1-to-1 ratio.
That's fair. Well, I mean, they should have always counted it as one. They used to in the 30s. Mm-hmm. Nothing bad happened in the 30s.
Nothing.
So it was one ticket sold. So it was one person. I don't know why it's money now, because all of us, I think, are of the $10 or more ticket prices, right? Yeah. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Some places a ticket price is $6. That doesn't make sense. Two people in
Midwest, sort of.
Yeah, two people in Mississippi can go see a movie for the price that I can see one.
Same for me, Chauncey.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That's not like proper way to judge how many people are actually watching this thing.
Although I will give Netflix like a moderate amount of credit for the sheer fact that, I mean, okay, all of this speculation and gauging of viewership and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why they started doing the top 10, what is most watched in these particular regions currently. And that in turn just pours more fuel on the fire. Like, oh, if everybody else is watching this, like, I should probably watch it too. It means it's presumably good. And so,
dude, I was suggested Ridiculous.
That's about all we got from Netflix, though.
Yeah, I was suggested Ridiculous 6 for about 2 months straight. And I'm like, dude, I'm not watching it. Please get this off my homepage.
At least 2 occasions I was, watching something and it was ending, and I'd go to the bathroom or go get a snack or just leave the room and come back. And because the movie or whatever it was I was watching, it ended, it just auto rolled into Ridiculous.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've woken up in the middle of the night to like get a glass of water or use the bathroom or something, and it's just this frozen image. Hey, you're still watching this?
Yeah.
I'm still playing this thing. Are you still there?
I remember back when they first started, they would send people messages for like, oh, you're watching a whole lot of this in a short period of time. Maybe you should branch out and watch other things too.
Oh, don't judge me, Netflix.
Yeah. I still get those notifications, man.
Yeah.
I know that one of the things, like what was being said, what about the top 10? It always is funny to me how in their top 10, it always seems to be something they just newly put out. Somehow that's it. I kind of don't. I trust it. I don't trust it. I'm kind of like, how is this automatically? It just came out. How is this automatically your top 10? That sounds. I'm not really trusting that necessarily.
Right.
I'm like, everyone watched it the time that it dropped on Friday. Really?
Right.
I don't think so.
Hundreds of millions of people sit there ready to click the moment that.
Right.
And
I'm like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I'm being recommended the thing that you kept telling me about all week long that was coming out. And suddenly it's number 5 in the I'm like, sure it is.
Yeah.
Discussion of what's a view? Is 30 seconds a view? Is half a movie a
click? Isn't it just a click?
Yeah.
What like validates that? I mean, how much viewership? Because I mean, YouTube has their algorithms, right? It has to be CP like 30 seconds, a minute.
I think a click gets you a view.
Does it?
Yeah. The algorithm. One more time.
I think it's about 30 seconds.
Is it really that long?
Yeah, it has to be a certain amount of seconds.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Considered a view. And I know because Facebook does the same thing. Facebook does 10 seconds, or they used to. They're at, like, if you a video view counted as 10 seconds when Facebook was trying to push everyone saying that journalism is pivoting to video and look at all these people watching these videos, and it literally was just I'm scrolling and I couldn't scroll fast enough, and you counted that as a view probably. So I don't know if Netflix is doing the same thing with it. Yeah, that's why it's always interesting when Netflix says they're canceling one thing and not canceling another, because you're like, based on what exactly? Like, is it the views? Is it like it's not just being, talked about enough? I mean, I don't know. Because I mean, I know Stranger Things was popular, and I think it was more so popular because it was it's a trending topic. But I do like, is everyone watching it? I don't know. Like, I didn't watch it. I'm not saying I'm everybody, but
That would be fascinating to see, like, the fall off between seasons of, like, Stranger Things and, like, some of those the Marvel Netflix shows, or like Lost in Space, which I liked the first season of, but I feel like only me and my family are the only ones that watched it because no one else ever talked about it. But then, hey, season 2, and I'm like, okay, I'll gladly watch that.
Right.
And it's very hard to find, and that's where, the whole new technology, because we're going into new terrain, right? Like in the before, we were like kind of playing with it, but now we are in a situation for some time, probably to like spring of 2021, where they're going to have to start talking about, the streaming and, what counts as a hit going forward, because it can't be necessarily just a theater. What's going to count as a hit? How do you measure a hit, and how do you do it truthfully, and not like how Facebook might do it, where they kind of like everybody's watching this thing and it's just 10 seconds of video or something like that, because Facebook lies all the time. So, it's like, how do we measure hits anymore in this industry? Like, how do you measure a flop necessarily? And Netflix isn't helping anybody because they want to keep their numbers, this whole mystery to, I don't know, justify when they cancel something, justify when they save it. And you just don't know. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go going forward for the movie industry. Like, what do you count as like doing well?
Having said that, Chauncey, I'm going to sabotage both you and Fuego as journalists.
I'm random dickhole. Don't worry about me.
Have you studied journalism, Lindsey? I'd love to count you.
I mean, not in any serious capacity.
Okay. All right, so how do you guys feel about certain areas of pop culture just granting people who have a certain popularity status the right to be a critic? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to. If there's bridges you don't want to burn, but I'll wait for you guys, and if you don't want to answer, I'll go ahead and bite my own foot. But
no, I mean, my personal thoughts about it, I think, is that people kind of get their heads up their own butts to a degree with, using a nasty term like that, unfortunately. But people think that their just esteemed sort of impression is better than the opinion of the average film goer, and in a lot of ways, I don't necessarily think that there's a lot of truth, behind that. I mean, we are kind of, especially here in the era of social media, where everybody has a voice, for better or for worse, in a lot of ways. Right. Everybody can comment and watch a lot of stuff and has the ability to make their voice known. And so, for that reason, since we're past the point of like the, Siskel and Eberts and stuff like that, I mean. I don't even like calling myself, like film critic anymore. I mean, especially since I left print, man. I mean, I'm an entertainment correspondent. I like covering creativity, talking about it, and everybody has a very valid opinion, I guess.
So let me flesh this out to both put myself out on the plank and maybe you can understand what I'm talking about a little bit. Okay. So certain outlets on the internet are granting people the right to be considered critics. regardless of their schooling, regardless of their expertise, regardless of their knowledge, regardless of whether or not that they should be considered a critic. And I genuinely, as a film school dropout, I'm not saying that I should be a critic, but I am damn sure saying that certain people who maybe just are popular have no business being considered a film critic. It's like saying, okay, Kim Kardashian's quite famous for things she's done. Let's have her teach sex ed to the country. That makes no sense. Popularity doesn't dictate information or education, I would argue.
I'm with you there.
I think this is a twofold question. I think you first have to think about what is film criticism. You know, what is a reviewer versus someone who's an analyst, right? You know, when I think of myself, and it goes back to what we were talking about in journalism last week, like the person and objectivity versus a formula of how to actually report the news, right? And I think that's the same thing with film. I don't like to call it criticism because I feel like the word critic and criticism has kind of a negative connotation. I like the word analyst. You know, you're someone who analyzes a film. You look at the merits of it, right? And I think if you consider yourself, you know, a film analyst, or for the sake of this, a film critic, but no, I'm talking about someone who analyzes or whatever, then you're someone who, oh no, my computer's about to die. I didn't plug it in.
Do you want to take a second?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay,
I gotta get up.
So part of what I was talking about, like there's stuff like, you know, you learn stuff in school about, you know, granted it's art, but there are rules. Like, you know, people make fun of paintings and stuff that like just have like 3 strokes, you know, like, oh, that's not art. That's just somebody, you know, throwing 3 strokes on the thing. But, you know, apparently
3 of the best chords, dude. I mean, for a song, right? I mean, come on.
yeah, exactly. Music, right. But there is some structure to it. So like the way I'm framed, if I were in a movie and I were being shot like this, as somebody who's educated in film, I would want to know why the fuck is CP shot like that? What is the reason for that? Is there some sort of thing that's being done there to influence my emotions? Because it's not right, whatever the hell it is. And sometimes it is done to influence emotion. Sometimes it's just badly done. Bad horror is, you know, they don't put any effort into it. The cinematography is really bad.
Yeah, and I get it, CP. I'll stick up my standards a little bit here. God, man, like
I was trying to buy time. I'm sorry.
No, what can I? Are you?
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I had to run to get my computer thing. No, I was just saying it's twofold. I think it depends on, you know, when I think of analysis, I don't think of, I'm not going to go into something because, okay, let's talk about like the 3 major ones. It's like that get people riled up. It's comics, Star Wars, and Disney occasionally. Those are the 3 ones. Like if someone's talking about that, you got a whole bunch of fans and stuff who are going to love you or hate you depending on what you tend to say. And I think in some cases, people who are reviewers, you know, they come to it, you can come to as a fan, you know, it's like people know when they're watching you, you have a certain thought process of you when you watch it. So they know they're going to, and people tend to go to your viewers and analysts that they like, that they like your opinion. Even if they don't agree with you, they like your opinion sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that plays into it. And then there's the thing of like, but you can, okay, so I think there's good reviewers. I think there's people who aren't that great, depending on what they call themselves. You know, if I'm a reviewer and I'm just like basically a fan, and I'm like, yo, this was so sick. What just happened with this thing? That was cool. I really like that. Remind me of the time when I did a little explosives in my backyard, and that was awesome, guys. You guys should like go watch this now. Oh my gosh, I loved it. And people were like, yo, that was the best review ever. You know what I mean? Do I think that person needs to be considered like at the, you know, a critics association? Probably not. But people look to them as someone, they have fans, you know, and then there's someone who might go to saying something like, well, these were the themes of this film. And if you're going towards something like this is something you might be looking into. And maybe they say it really cool or something like that, but they break it down, whether they, and even at the end, even if they ragged on it or they seemed critical, they then said,
they tell you
why.
Should
still go, this is why you should, this is why I think that, but if you are into certain things like that, you might still want to watch this film. I'm not going to tell you screw this film, screw everyone in it. I might have a bias, of course, because I'm human, but I also look at a film from a critical point of view. And maybe I have fans or maybe I don't in that regard. I think certain outlets, I mean, I know the one I'm known for.
Careful.
I had to go through an application process, and it took months before I got approved. So I know, you know, it's the application process. They look at everything. They ask you a lot of these questions of how you go about it. They look at your stats and things. And maybe that does have a big influence on it. And maybe there are people who, if maybe it's a different kind of organization or not, you know, they go to and they just look at their numbers and say, okay, this is great. But I think, I don't know. I think it depends on if someone's looked to as an authority on something too. You know, maybe they reviewed all these kind of films or something. If they've got like 100-something videos or 100-something articles under their belt, maybe they didn't go to film school. I didn't go to film school. I have a degree in theater.
Yeah,
you know,
journalist. Right.
I'm a journalist, and I learned on the job in certain things when it comes to certain stuff. But I'm seen as somewhat of an authority because of my career focus and what I get a salary in or whatever. You know, but I think it depends. I think even us saying certain people deserve it and certain people don't can have a bias to it, because it's kind of like, you know, do you think that certain people are just bad reviewers, or is it just more like they could be a good reviewer, but you're pretty sure they just got it because they're popular, you know? So I think it's kind of, there's not really a clear cut thing. I do think there's people who are straight up going to film school and everything, and they call themselves critics, and I think they're just angry.
Yeah.
You know, and I wonder why they do it, because I'm like, you don't seem to like any of these things, and you are considered authority. You know, what's that about? You know, so I think it.
Yeah.
So some people hold a certain number to way too high a regard, and I don't want to beat a dead dog, but around Oscar time, we had somebody who got very, very infamous, you know, ragging on a movie that they had not seen. And it was alarming, just the things that were coming out of this person's mouth that consider themselves a movie reviewer. I don't know the resume of this particular person on the internet, but the things that were falling out of his mouth, it was just like, dude, delete this video now. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm sorry, Fuego. It seemed like you were about to get going.
Oh, you're fine, man. I mean, I was just basically going to talk about the fact that we have this hate culture, which is very big on YouTube, like the angry reviewer and stuff like that, whether it's video games or films or television or whatever. I've never really been that into, you know, something. I always try to find merit in creativity, because I don't think anybody, aside from some of those shitty horror movies that you were mentioning where they're just trying to turn a profit, I don't think people necessarily try to make bad films. I mean, people do put their heart and their soul into things like that. And I mean, does an RT distinction, like Chauncey was talking about, give you that sort of validation? I mean, it's arguable. We've been trying to get it at the horror show for a little while. But yeah, man, I mean, I still like to cover creativity with as much positivity as possible. Even if something isn't very good, I still try to find my merits within it. So
yeah, it's just art. I mean, in the end, it's all right. So here's a chicken sandwich. I like it. You know, you may not. so get the burger. Like it really shouldn't be that tumultuous and volatile. Lindsay, how
an art form too. Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I do think it's certain art. If you can do it well, it can come off as its own skill set. If you can do it well, I don't think this is a new problem. I just think there's more people who can grab their hand at being critics, because it used to be a time where if you didn't have, even before blogs, if you couldn't get yourself published in a newspaper, no one would know what you were thinking about.
Right.
And now it's right there. But does that mean that all of those people should be accepted as authorities on a film or on a story? Maybe. I mean, that could be an opinion. I don't necessarily think that, but I also don't think it needs to be an elite club either, because I think some of the people who belong to the club could learn a thing or two about not being angry or biased or thinking that somehow their opinion is so much more important now because they've got this, title. It just means, okay, on this site, you are an authority, but, maybe even in that regard, you can learn a thing or two about, a formula that gives more analysis as opposed to just inserting your bias with the way you like an actor or the way you like an effect or something, and I see that a lot. I mean, there's some I'm just like, all right, I guess this was a review. Like, I didn't get anything out of it, but sure, you're popular.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I watched Jurassic World and gave my. I quite enjoyed Jurassic World. I thought it was well, whatever. At least 3 times people were like, but the Rotten Tomatoes score was like a 38, and I'm like, cool. So what does that have to do with me enjoying the film?
You're only allowed to enjoy 38% of it, and no more, no less, or maybe a little less, but no more.
And that's where something that I constantly contend, guys, is the fact that art is subjective. There is that aspect to all of it, and that there is this elitist aspect that I find off-putting. And hey, if you find the kind of a dumb bit of schlock like Little Nicky fun, which I love, I mean, hey man, whatever.
Getting a flask.
We had that on a couple of days ago.
It's a guilty pleasure for me.
He's got a new Halloween movie coming out soon. At the beginning of October, he's got a new Halloween coming out. Bubby Halloween, I think it's called.
Yeah, Huey Halloween, right?
Yeah. Looks good, actually.
Lindsay, I'm sorry, Lindsay. I didn't mean to make it a journalists only thing, but go on.
I'm just over here with the sound of silence playing in my head as I'm contemplating.
You're just a stupid actor. What the hell do you have to say?
No, I think
so as long as it's not the Stearns version. But anyway,
I think the important things are just being able to articulate yourself, and even if you don't know what you're talking about, at least be like entertaining. It's more often when I first started off doing YouTube, I was like, oh man, like my opinion is just like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna get my opinion. But like I've grown up, like I'm not that guy anymore.
What is that voice?
I use my YouTube voice. Welcome to my 2 cents of nonsense. I'm Lindsay. I'm going to tell you about understanding today. Oh my god, I missed out. I need to go back 5 years and do all my YouTube stuff with that voice.
Wait. Why is your YouTube voice Mitch McConnell? What the hell is that about?
I mean, we clearly need to get McConnell turtle reviews on YouTube.
You need to do all your stuff just like that in that voice. That's hilarious.
Okay, I've apparently struck gold. I'll get on that once we're done here tonight. But it's like, there's so many YouTube channels out there that are just like one that I see a lot, and I've never even watched a single, but I think it's called Mahler. He puts out like 4-hour reviews of The Last Jedi, and I'm like, how do you have that much to say about a movie for 4 hours?
Just be careful about names, but I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a couple. He's got that person has a couple of, boy, do I hate the latest Star Wars movie, and he's got like 6 total hours of footage, and it's like, dude, the movie itself was 2 hours. What do you? You're tripling the runtime. How much do you have to say?
But I do think YouTube, what it's done in the internet in general, what it's really allowed you to just access different voices, and I think that's really important for criticism. Like we always talk about like political bubbles, echo chambers, whatever word you want to say. I think you see that in criticism so much. It's just like the same 5 people just saying the same 5 things, and they're just saying them to each other. But you need a mix of opinions, and I didn't really feel like you had that, or maybe you did for a while. But like the thing that broke me on like more mainstream stuff, or at least for a bit, was I was my gaming days, and I still game now, but I gamed way more when I was younger, and I had the magazines and stuff, and I'd read the magazines, and I'd be like, oh, this game sounds awesome, and I had like a 4-game streak on like these games sound awesome, and then I play them, and this game is terrible. How did this get a good review? But then I'd go online and I'd find reviews from people on like YouTube, like Yahtzee or Jim Sterling or stuff like that. I'd be like, oh, sorry. I shouldn't be naming names. I'm sorry.
As long as it's not negative, it's fine.
I love Yahtzee. I love Jim Sterling. Super.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of got me more into that, because like, I agree with these guys. They're the things that they were saying in the magazine were the exact opposite when I played the game, but these guys are the same. And that's what kind of started me onto the role to where it landed me here. And just that idea of just having different voices and finding those that do match up with yours. And that's why I do think the value of Rotten Tomatoes and YouTube, like even if RT, sorry.
No, yeah, it's fine there. Yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're good.
Also, I think Rotten Tomatoes, like people, they don't understand it. Like it's not like saying that like, a movie that with 100% is a perfect movie. It's not like you're 68% of a good movie if you got a 68% on the tomato meter or whatever. It's just saying that 68% of these critics that saw it enjoyed it. That's literally all it means.
Right.
It's not some end all be all, but it's a really good aggregator that brings all these things into one place. And maybe that's the thing, because it brings all these things into one place, and that's why it gets all the hatred.
Oh yeah, for sure. Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, to its credit, did try to do a diversity initiative as well, because 85% of professional critics are still white and men. Like, so it's, and also on YouTube, a lot of people who seem to think they have a big opinion are white and men. So like in this sphere, in those main 3 spheres of comics, Star Wars, and even Disney, there's a lot of just white men,
and that's where I'm with
then it translates over into who gets approved as Rotten Tomatoes and things like that, or some other place or whatever. So it's like, it's I don't know. I think there's so many different ends that need some like cleaning out, some highlighting of other voices, because even with who's seen as an authority on certain platforms, even YouTube, it's like, I mean, like I said, it's relatability to a certain degree too. It's like this guy or this person, sometimes mainly just guy, like, he's like me, and hey, so what you think of that last week? Because that's their boy in a way. Because, we look at YouTube as like the person on there is like our friend, and like, so that's who's flocked to. And I've seen some people's video. I'm just like, yo, that was 5 minutes and it was a lot of cuts, and like, you didn't have full sentence. That's cool though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got them.
Jeremy Jones, bless his heart, right?
Stop. I wasn't trying to think of my name. But you know what I'm saying? And that's like, no shade to him, because that's, people like that. Some people like that. But I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what I was supposed to get from that if I don't identify with you as your identity. You know what I mean? That's the thing, even as journalists. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, as a Black woman, I don't just write news for Black women. I might highlight that, but I would hope that anybody could read my thing and get something out of it. And I think sometimes, we talk about these words like identity politics, but it's funny because it gets thrown at certain groups when another group kind of uses it a lot to relatability. And it's usually, white men. Sometimes certain things.
Well, see, like, and sometimes people, like most of the time, people just want to, like, they just want that reinforcement. When I first started my channel, the name of the channel was Will I Like It. That's what the WILI stands for. And
wait, I'm pretty sure it's Willie.
What I wanted to do was I wanted to do something completely different. I took myself out of the equation and said, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares what I think? Let me try to suggest something to who I think, all right, so this is like this. You might like this movie if you like blank. And it just never really caught on because people want to hear their thoughts and their interests validated and or backed up or other words similar to those.
Also, I made a channel called Wiley that was
and that's where like
that really tanked it for you. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's where like the syncing up of rhetoric almost from what CP was saying. It's like it is a thing. I mean, Chauncey even mentioned earlier that people gravitate towards political analysts and even like sports or whatever it is. People who are like around your own, just semblances and just sentiments and stuff like that. It's a real thing. We want people to validate us, which is kind of a for better or for worse sort of situation. I don't necessarily know how good it is because we do need to be challenged with different perspectives, and it's vastly important, especially in this day and age.
I mean, there's been times where certain dance CP dance. There's been certain clickbait hot take movie channels will jump on something and they'll jump on a social issue, and I'll say, you know what, the movie's not that good, and you're making it about this other thing, and that's not fair because people are gonna blame you for the social aspect that you're making a big stink about. Meanwhile, the movie just doesn't deserve the attention to begin with.
Right. And also there's other times that Dice brings this up in the chat, and it's an amazing point. Sometimes people just substitute being mean for being smart or clever.
Yeah, exactly.
And again,
right.
100%. I've definitely made that mistake myself, but like, sometimes sometimes the most incredible analysis are the ones that are positive. Like I'm trying to remember what it was. I saw some movie with a bunch of people one time, and that's what it was. It was a production of oh my god, the chariot racing movie.
Ben-Hur?
Ben-Hur, yeah. I saw a really old version of Ben-Hur with a live orchestra doing the music, and everyone in my group was kind of complaining about the music afterwards. And I just kind of straight up said, they complained about the drums, saying the drums were too loud. And I'm like, guys, the drums were so loud because he was a slaver who had to row a boat to drum beats for years. And the entire group was just silent, like being like, oh. And no one mentioned the drums again for the rest of the night. Anyway, sorry, I'm just tooting my own horn.
No, that's the problem.
But at the end of that, people click on the ones that are about to say something negative too. Sometimes it's a two-way street. We feed the negative. Some people want to hear a nice analysis. Some people want to hear someone rag on it, maybe because they want to dislike the movie or whatever. So they want someone else to dislike the movie, and they're like, I can't wait till the zinger so-and-so comes up with about this movie or something. And it's just, so sometimes it's kind of like wanting to, like, I have a rule for myself where I only really rag on a film if it's multi-million-dollar type thing. Like if it's someone who can handle the fact, because I'm not going to take it out of their pocket. Like if it costs a whole bunch of money and it's like a whole bunch of people who are just already rich and well famous, and I didn't like it, and it was a whole thing, and I had to pay $20. I'm going to say something about that, But if it's like an indie film or it's a B movie, and maybe it wasn't great, I don't rag on it. I'll try to find the better parts of it, because it's like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? That's kind of my rule, though. But I know some people will just rag. They find stuff that's obscure to just rag on. And it's just like, wow, you really search for this person who probably had like $1,000 to make this film. You know what I mean? And you really, for laughs on the internet, and people eat it up too. And I've watched some of those films because they're funny. But I think it's a two-way street a little bit, though, because those people wouldn't be thinking that meme works if it didn't work sometimes. Like there are people who get popular off of that, off of being someone who's going to rag on a movie. And, Fuego talked about Gone Are the Days sort of Roger Ebert and stuff like that. And I want that back, actually. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, this dude totally wasn't me, right? Like, you know what I mean? Didn't look like me, totally different lifestyle. But when you looked at when you read his articles or when you watched like late night with, at the movies with them, you honestly saw that as an authority, not because, he was mean sometimes too, but he backed it up. You know what I mean? Like he had a reason why he took someone to task about something. Even I try to adhere to that too when I take if I take someone to task on a big budget film and I really don't like it and why I say I don't, like Midsummer or something like that, But it's like I just always have to chime in and say I didn't like.
I get you. Don't worry. Like
No,
but
I am so.
I
With Chauncey about Midsommar. Oh my god!
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, thank you. But you know what I mean. Like, you could look to him as an authority because you knew he was going to give you analysis. You know what I mean? Like, you knew he wasn't just coming. Like, he looked at stuff that he may not even have liked, and he gave it to you, whether or not it was his type of movie. He'd explain to you why it had merit or why it did not. And I want those days are good. I think. To have that back. I think we're moving towards a thing where it is more of an echo chamber. There are less authorities and more like, well, go watch who you like. And those are the people who get to be considered authorities. But how does that work? If everyone's an authority in their own right, necessarily, like, where's the level of, of merit in that regard?
Yeah. Some people don't want to be challenged. I'll never forget the one of the last days one of my intro to film school teachers, I had the last of my books and I was like, well, how do I start cause like some of it wasn't sticking. And I was like, well, how do I notice the difference between a well shot thing and something that's not as well shot? And he just said, just keep watching movies. And I was like, the fuck kind of answer is that, asshole? But, here I am, 10 years later, and it's like, oh, I get it. Like, you just have to keep soaking shit up. And when you see something in a similar situation, you'll realize the difference. Not everybody's going to do that, but it's a lot easier for somebody to say, trust me, this sucks. Just trust me, this sucks.
Yeah. Right. And you get that a lot of times. Sure. It's just like, why? Or I just really didn't like that explosion. It just really didn't. Okay. Why didn't you like that explosion? I'm really not understanding. You know what I mean? And that's just me. And I know I have my own bias too, because I have a certain way that I analyze films. And if someone's going to tell me that their opinion is authority, I say earn it for me. But we have a thing of, that people, like we said, echo chamber. People don't earn it. The earning of it is that I relate to you. So therefore I take your opinion because you're going to let me know, since we're similar, if if you like the movie, I'll probably like the movie. If you don't like the movie, I probably won't like the movie but that's sometimes people are looking for, as opposed to analysis. Some people just want to know if someone like them likes it, they'll see it. And other people, and maybe, other people, they want an analysis,
And sometimes, like, I feel like a lot of some YouTube videos, like, their point is to try and convince someone, you like this? No, you're wrong. It's bad. Like, I swear, like, half the Last Jedi videos I saw back in the day were just like, no, you liked it, you were wrong, and they don't even really almost said, and here's why. But they never really say here's why. They just say, like, you're wrong. You don't understand Star Wars, and they never really back up anything with anything outside of, like, this isn't the thing I had from my childhood. And it's an emotional thing, and that can be huge, but that shouldn't be like the end all be all. Like,
objectively. Go ahead, Fuego. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the way it goes with big tentpole situations. So with these, like, enormous IPs that are so revered, so regarded, and stuff like that. You are, like, if you enjoy it or hate it, you are trying to convince somebody. And that's really what it boils down to. That's why in a lot of ways, I really like the niche we have on the horror show, because of the fact that we're talking about, all too often, smaller films that people haven't heard about. And so, we are trying to spread the word about something that either should be avoided or should be, embraced, and it's not going to get that amount of ridicule in that regard. Hollywood is big time game, man, and a lot of these properties are just so insanely revered, and people are, like, bloodthirsty with each other about just liking or hating them. It's crazy. So.
Yeah, and it's also the access. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was just gonna say. I mean, and then there's the other thing of, it's like CIA type double agent thing. If someone really likes something all the time, people are like, this is a company shill type person, or this like that.
Exactly.
And some people do have it straight up that some people like, you know, they will not give certain types of movies a bad review because they want to get invited to the premiere. And stuff like that. Yeah. You know, that happens. And then it's a question of, once I said, the merit of I think film analysis is, you know, something that can be awesome if you can weave it, that even in it of itself, it's kind of like, it's either a video essay of some sort, or it's like a virtual, like a real text essay of some sort, no matter how short or long, because you had a you had a hypothesis or whatever, and you basically explained it, you know, and you do that. Like science this is what it was, you know, but even science had bias, right? Depending on who was the scientist. So it's not without it, but it's kind of like this thing of, that's the other thing, like, who do you trust? So that's where that YouTube, because I mean, honestly, because these studios, they take advantage of that too, you know, if they think it's like a YouTube person or whatever, they're just like, yeah, let's just send you some stuff for this thing. And then, you know, you might feel kind of like, well, can I really give this a bad review because they sent me this swag or something like that? And, you know, and it's like, well, I don't know. I'll try to find some good stuff in it, even if there's not, you know, and then it's like, well, who do I really owe loyalty to, you know, because being a certain designated critic, you get certain things thrown at you because, you know, you get on the list of these two and then they're like, hey, how's it going? And it's like, you know, how do you, you know, do that while also still being an asset to your audience? So, I mean, yeah. And
as I sit here with a box from South Korea that is completely free.
Yeah, that's the aspect of it, you know. And I remember when I put out, when it was the whole thing of Marvel, what was her name? Because I'm not even a Marvel person. The woman.
Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Captain Marvel. I don't know why.
The woman.
And I went to the theaters to watch it, and I made a video of how I liked it, and I thought it was very cool. And, you know, there was a whole thing going on particularly Rotten Tomatoes, where people were comment bombing it. You know, basically already saying really negative things because of Brie Larson and stuff like that. And I just explained, and I said why I thought it was a good film and why I thought the comment bombing wasn't okay. And it got so much, like, I think they were just searching for people who were trying to say nice things about it or something, because they filled my thing with comment. I had to delete or like hide so many comments because I was getting, I mean, someone had their own little essay how I was a company shill. And I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? I don't like Marvel. Yeah. Like, I don't like Marvel like that. Me, a company shill?
Yeah, you're a DC girl 100%.
Yeah.
See,
but as soon as I had a nice thing to say, it was like, oh, you're trying to push the agenda. And I'm like, what is it? I missed the meeting. Can you tell me?
See, with the exception of that, that's why I like having discussions where not all of us agree, where perhaps we'll argue, perhaps we'll get heated, whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, we're just talking about movies. It's not that big a deal. And if there's somebody who doesn't like something, they can have their voice through whoever's disagreeing. If there's somebody who likes it, they can have their voice through the person who you know is singing its praises. And if there's a couple of people in the middle, then you have your voices there. But I always try to without being disrespectful, I always try to get both ends of the spectrum when it comes to like or dislike when it comes to film, just to just to give people what the landscape is. All right, so he doesn't like it because of this, she doesn't like it because of this, he's on the fence because of that. I wonder where
an angle like that, even if like you're being vitriolic, if you have a specific angle, sometimes it can get on your side. But when you're just like, and I've definitely, some of the early stuff I did was immediate reactions. I'm driving home from the car and just ranting at a camera as I'm doing it. So I've definitely done. I'm guilty of a lot of the things we're doing here, but I have learned and I have attempted to grow.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's just figuring out what. All right, now what? All right, I screwed up there, but this is how I feel. They're just movies. They're just movies.
No, they're my life.
Yeah, and that's where. Yeah, and that's where I'd like to personally ruminate and just kind of brood and let something sink in, as opposed to, I mean, the immediate reaction is popular and people love the hate brigade where this I love it or I hate it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But actually, I mean, I feel like true criticism and assessment is really letting something settle and give it time to reflect, so to speak.
Yeah. Tenet, I refuse to even write anything on paper before I sit down, watch it again, process it. My mind will change. But
I'm the opposite. I'm fully willing to go to I did not like Tenet. Yeah. I found it an exceedingly boring.
I was waiting to hear your thoughts, man. I mean, we kind of danced around it for a little bit, but.
Oh wait, right, Tenet. Lindsey, this is your first time watching Tenet since you didn't watch it last week.
Oh well, I mean, it's finally opened in California. There was a drive-in about an hour that way, away from all the fires, or there was one 30 minutes that way by the fire. So I was like, okay, well, let's drive an hour. Mm-hmm. And great experience. I actually drive-in's a lot of fun.
Sure,
but the movie was just so boring and so dry. Sorry to get. If we do we want to do this now? Do we want to wait? What do we want to?
I mean, news, we're pretty much wound down. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's just boring. So dry. I know all Christopher Nolan movies are dry and they don't really have a lot of emotion, and it's just kind of just people just talking about the plot at each other. And there was a couple of moments in this where I can never remember. Is it John David Washington?
Yeah.
John David Washington.
John David Washington. He is the shit, man. Love that guy.
He's so good. He's got so much charisma. He's able to actually have a couple of boring Nolan lines be cute and fun and flirty. He's just that good. And same with Robert Pattinson. A couple of times his charisma manages to sneak its way through the bad line and kind of be good. But then there's 3 scenes of the two of them just walking down a street expositing at each other, and then there's a scene of John David Washington in a restaurant talking to someone, and then there's an interlude in an art studio for 30 seconds, and then he's in another restaurant with that other character, and I'm just just have it be an extended scene in a restaurant. Why'd you need the break?
Well, think about it. If you think about Inception, when he's running around picking his crew,
right,
nothing makes sense about where he's going.
No.
When he goes to the casino and picks up the guy who counterfeits stuff, it's that doesn't look like a casino. What is this shit? And how did he?
But at least that scene then has the really cool chase scene where Leo's running down the tunnel and he's wait, no, I can't.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing because I've never really seen that moment in a movie before, but Tenet doesn't have that. Everything that's cool in it that I enjoyed, I felt like Doctor Strange did better. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
There's literally
interesting.
Yeah, and I'll stand by it because there's a moment where someone gets blown backwards into a wall and then the wall rebuilds itself as time reverses. And that shot was literally in Doctor Strange.
I seem to forget when the Audi drove backwards and flew upside down and crunched a bunch of times in Doctor Strange, but
okay, yeah, that shot wasn't. But there was the shot of a car driving backwards and running a dude over. So, but no.
Was there?
I'm not saying it's the exact same. It's just there's so many moments in.
Has the same aesthetic. Has the same kind of
I'm just joshing you.
I'm also worried about falling into a lot of the traps that I trying to avoid. I'm getting ranty. I'm getting.
That and spoilers because Chauncey still hasn't seen it. So
you have to kind of gravitate around. Scott Derrickson, though, hell of a director, man. I mean,
I love Sinister.
Strange is great, man, and you don't have that, and you also don't have that amusement of Dormammu. I've come to bargain, which is just so funny to have over and over.
Mm-hmm. That's the best third act scene in any Marvel movie, any of them. That's he doesn't beat the bad guy by beating the crap out of him. He beats the bad guy by smarting him. That's so cool.
It is definitely arguable, man. I mean, shit.
No, I don't know. Like I like a lot of Nolan's early movies, but these like Dunkirk was kind of boring. I did not like Interstellar at all. This movie really didn't. It put me to sleep. Honestly, I mean, I was falling asleep in my car during Tenet, and I'm the kind of guy who's up until 4 a.m. just because I got nothing else to do. So falling asleep at 11 o'clock in a movie in my car, like that's yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, in my car. That's the other thing. Like, yeah. Like in a movie theater, like you lean back in this chair, you can stretch. In a car, what do you do? Like,
so we'll rear skate there. See, Lindsey, I think we hinted at it before. Maybe Chauncey, if you want to, you don't have to. If you want to, you're more than welcome. But if you don't want to, that's completely understandable. Maybe we'll do some sort of thing where we just do a spoiler chat, and it's exclusively Tenet. But for the time being, let's race past everything that's no longer coming out this year because 2020 is a never-ending pit of hell.
It's over. It's over. It's the year that didn't happen. We might as well just start saying 2021. Like 2020 is over.
Right? It's the year that never occurred.
What do they call it in Community? The fourth season that's the worst of the gas leak year. This is the gas leak year of just the world right now. At least 2 people in the comments are going to
agree.
Just
Two people get the reference.
up and get over with already. Fuego, you got a list. It doesn't have to be huge, but just a couple of noteworthy. I think you brought up Wonder Woman before. That's now what, Christmas?
Yeah, so it's coming out December 25th, obviously, or at least for now. Dune, surprisingly, is still seemingly standing pat on December 18th. And I don't know if you guys saw the trailer this past week. It looks fantastic.
Awesome.
I do have a soft spot for the David Lynch film, and
I've never seen the original
with them.
too, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with them forging forward. But the biggest one from the horror community standpoint was the fact that Candyman, Nia DaCosta's film, has been indefinitely delayed into sometime in 2021. So it has not been redated. So that obviously induces speculation about should it, go to like a premium VOD sort of situation like we saw with Mulan. I'm curious about that, but she actually took to Twitter to say that she almost kind of pulled a Nolan, where she was like, this film needs to be seen in theaters. It's a communal experience based on just racial tensions that it deals with, the nastiness of the core storytelling. I don't know if this needs to be just delayed as far as they're thinking. So that's where I'm kind of curious with you guys.
Yeah, hold that thought, Fuego. How often do you guys watch a movie with a group and A, do it at a movie theater, or B, watch it at home and then kind of talk about it afterwards? What's the ratio for you guys? Good.
I mean,
good.
With me, it's, I mean, with me, man. I mean, sorry, Chauncey, take it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, movies cost like $20-something these days, and so I mean, you got deals and things, and I as someone who works at a theater, so I was watching some stuff for free, but I don't know. I just feel like for me, it's a special thing, and I'm already gonna like the film, and so I mean, I think Candyman probably would have been something I would have, but. No, not often. I mean, I think the majority of stuff I watch is at home a lot of time.
Yeah.
Unless it's something special that I really am like, okay, I'm going to go to the theater, pay also $20 for some popcorn and stuff. And it's a whole to-do,
Right. Fuego?
Yeah, the in-theater experience, I mean, it's nicely enhanced because of the fact that, see something like press, for various films and stuff like that. But for just big communal sort of crap, I do like that sort of energy that you get. It's almost like being in a live sporting event, and versus watching it at home. There's a different aspect in that regard, which is cool. But
Avengers Endgame,
we are living in different. Yeah, we're for sure in different times, man, and that is where I mean, hell, even the like press screening for Greenland, if that ends up happening, that the Lindsey kind of popped the bubble on potentially. Yeah,
I double checked.
I'm really suspicious about how many people will actually be there. You know, it's just one of those situations. But yeah, we do feed off the energy of others in that sort of situation. So I do like seeing tentpole releases with other people. I feel like it's fun.
Lindsey?
Oh, no, I was just. Oh, wait, what was I going to even say? I can't remember. I think there's a lot to be said for group experiences, but they're not that common. Like,
really? Okay.
I mean, they kind of are. Like, I feel like if I'm going to see a movie with a bunch of friends, it's usually at a theater versus at home where it might be like one or two people I'm just hanging out with. I haven't really had like just a movie night at someone's house where it's like 8 people all coming over to watch one movie.
It is a little harder to keep everybody to fucking focus and be like, asshole. That was important what he just said. I'm going to have to rewind it now.
Well, when I do my Leprechaun marathons, I have a rule that everyone has to sit there and watch every single thing. And if they need help, I will explain. Everyone has to sit there. All the lights go out in my house.
Yeah, there's a couple of movies where if they're like either some sort of event or there's some sort of, there's some sort of importance to them. I like watching the movie and then discussing afterwards. Like, so what did you think the purpose of that was? Like Inception, I remember I'd seen it in the theater, then I watched that at home, and we discussed what people thought about it. And I think the discussion afterwards, if you're able to do that, if you happen to have people to discuss the movie with, much like we take this for granted very, very much. It almost adds to the experience, or not. Not. I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
Oh, no. No, I can totally echo that factor because of the fact that I know Lindsey mentioned that going with like friends that but I mean, for me, it's almost similar to a sporting experience, and I hate to continually make that sort of connotation, but it's like you make new friends on the fly in this like just makeshift bonding experience of like we were moved by this thing or we hated it, one of the two a lot of the time. And so, yeah, do you have a reaction? And then, you talk about stuff with people afterwards.
Well, your horror show reviews kind of have that feel to it, that natural, we're still processing things and we're going through them. If you watch a horror show review of a movie that's brand new, it has that very, we're still processing things. We're going through it. It has that kind of feel on a lot of those horror show reviews. So in the chat, Aaron asks what our thoughts are on The Office. Oh my God. Remember The Office? I need it so badly right now.
The moment Netflix loses the right to The Office, they're done. It's over. Like it's one of the most influential shows of the 21st century, probably. Like, is there one that's more so? Or at least like as beloved or talked about?
21st century for comedy?
Yeah. Or like what? Like, it started the 21st century, right? It was like kind of the middle, right?
Some people might argue 2.5 Men. Some people might listen. I said some people.
Okay, fair.
Some people might argue. What's that science?
Like 2.5 Men.
Yeah, like of all the shows, but yeah, you're probably not wrong though.
Big Bang Theory. Some people will argue Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Which I've rarely seen. Like an episode here or there, it's funny, but I don't know.
Emily has some vitriolic hate for that show.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, you feel better.
Yeah, I'm not
that laugh track is so annoying.
Yeah, it is. You want a fun time? YouTube, Big Bang Theory, no laugh track.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's so awkward.
That's what it's like to watch me live doing stand-up.
Well, you guys ever watch those like scenes from Friends that are edited to have the laugh track taken out? Ross's scenes are so creepy sometimes. it completely changes the tone when there's not people there laughing.
Which is weird because I've been to a showing where I forgot what show I went to where I was part of the studio audience, and it's just like, wait, how do you delete all of us? How do you? I guess it's just mics and whatever, but those are really good mics.
Well, I feel like some of it's real, some of it's canned. Like maybe there's like a decent laughter, but they like beef it up with some canned laughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably right.
Because like whenever I go to a show, there's always that joke that makes one person laugh, but nobody else laughs. But there's never that on a sitcom. There's never that one errant person just laughing at some thing that amuses them, you know?
I think the 21st century, well, so far, the first 20 years, we've been doing much better with drama than comedy. Like I can name you five dramas. Like it's Sopranos, Dexter, Breaking Bad, The Wire, which I still haven't even finished yet. Shit, what the hell else? Lost. I loved Lost. Oh, I missed Lost.
Oh, Lost.
Yeah, although lots of people tell me Schitt's Creek is pretty damn good, man. I mean, Eugene Levy is brilliantly hilarious with his.
That's the Netflix one, right? That's the Netflix one? Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I do love me some Eugene Levy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's to remind me, Fred Willard died over the summer.
Oh shit, did he?
Yeah.
Was it COVID related?
No, he was just getting old. What's funny is like it happened like right in the middle of my I'm finally watching Community phase, and so like the Fred Willard episode actually came up like the day after I heard, and so I was like, oh, he's still alive. Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Thanks, Lindsey.
I'm sorry. I got sad suddenly, so I had to make everyone sad.
Chauncey, is there something you go to, whether it be comedy or drama?
Oh, in terms of TV shows, like old school ones?
In general.
Oh, well, I used to love the Bernie Mac show.
Holy shit.
Bernie Mac show was he was one of my favorite, God rest his soul. Martin is also still one of my favorites. Martin. I love the different world.
Man, Martin is the shit.
Yeah, and I love the different world, which was like a good mixture sometimes of like after school special and stuff. And I'll watch a whole bunch of Saved by the Bell any day of the week. I actually really liked Frasier. I liked Frasier better than I liked Friends. And like I was someone who would sit, and which was weird for me to like Frasier, because I know people are like these old like dudes. I was like, this is a really funny show. Like it was. I always thought Friends was hilarious. I mean, Frasier was hilarious.
I agree. As a kid, I liked Frasier quite a bit.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Yeah.
Different World was kind of like the college spin-off of Cosby
Show. Yeah,
the same girl.
Yeah, and then he took her back off of the show because he didn't like a movie she did that he thought was too sexually explicit. Funny enough. And,
I was about to say.
But yeah, it started out with that. It was a really good show. But yeah, I honestly with The Office, I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I love the episode Idris Elba was in because I thought that was so funny. But that's probably the only one I sat all the way through. I mean, Steve Carell was the main guy in that one, right? I thought he was okay in it. Yeah. I mean, I liked him in other stuff. I liked him on The Daily Show when he was like one of the correspondents. That's how I had.
That's going way back.
That's how I started seeing him. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of The Office like that. I didn't think it was like the second coming of a comedy show.
Yeah, I'm not big on network television. I like if you want, like, it's been a while too. I used to watch like I needed linear. If I was going to watch a show and it ended, I wanted it to pick up where I left off the next time I watch it. And comedy just does not do that. So it's just like, what does it matter? What does it matter? What's my investment? Sons of Anarchy. Good call, Will Smith. That is a very good show.
I should, and like Charlie Hunnam is such a weird actor. Like there's things that he's in that I love, and then sometimes I'm like, you're like sleepwalking through this movie, man. So I think I should watch Sons just to see him.
Charlie Hunnam is really good in Sons, but that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I also really liked him in earlier this year. What was the movie? Fuego.
The Gentleman. Yeah, he was all right in that.
I've been wanting to get around to watching The Gentleman.
Oh,
That's fun.
That is still one of my favorite films of 2020. It's really The Gentleman and The Five Bloods for me. Those are my favorite films of the year. So,
Yeah, I have Tenet and Gentleman number 1 and 2.
Married with Children. That was one of my favorite ones. I always watch Married with Children. That was my show.
My mom tried so hard to keep me from watching that, but I'd always just sneak it anyway.
And we all clap when Al will put his hand in his pants. Like, yeah, that's the first clap, man. I'm like, yeah. And it's like,
you mentioning Martin though.
Back on it. Huh?
Yeah, Chauncey, you mentioned Martin though. There was like that double blockade that I was all about when I was growing up in the 90s. It was like Martin and then Living Single were like back to back.
Yeah, Living Single.
Oh man, I love Living Single too. So yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah, Living Single was what they stole the idea from for Friends. They went to their set. They went to their set, the same people, and then they ended up creating Friends. Yeah. It came from Living Single.
And adding a few.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay.
Yep, they stole it from them.
I haven't seen the Gentleman, but I want you glad to get the green light from trusted sources. Thanks, Brooke. Yeah, I'd give it. I mean, it's definitely rentable now at the very least. It's been out for a very long time, so
you should be able to find it somewhere on the street.
Yeah, or your uncle might be able to find it for you.
About The Gentleman, just for a disclaimer, the first 10 minutes for me, I almost left because it's in that such strong Cockney. I'm like, what is anybody saying? But then I kind of settled into the rhythm of it, and it got so much better.
I was like that too. I'm like, wait, what? What?
We got
very tough to distinguish. It's like very hard dialect.
Yeah.
Buffy. Oh,
sorry, Fuego. I feel so bad we're out of sync.
You're fine.
Buffy, my ex girlfriend made me sit through that, and then there was like a musical episode, and I was like, "What show is
which I downloaded and sing often. I actually converted that episode to a theatrical performance in high school.
What?
And I played Buffy, and I staged it, and my friends, and we did it for our project. And we did Buffy the musical, and I played Buffy. And that's one of my favorites.
Buffy, you get the hell, man.
Okay, whoa.
I staged
Nothing else matters tonight.
started staging this. I got the musical book. There's a musical book. It's really good. Good stuff.
So I need to know, Chauncey. I need to know, which song did you sing?
I sang all the way, but life's a show. And we all play. I don't know that. The opening one. I just did the whole thing. We staged it.
See, aren't you guys glad we're not talking about politics now?
Amen to that.
Look at this. We're just having a gay old time right now.
Yeah, I could nerd out about Buffy like hardcore, man. Best episode ever, Death of Miss Calendar. Season 2, where Angelus turns evil after having sex with Buffy.
Spoiler!
Anyway.
Not spoilers.
It was a good show. I think, what was it? Was it season 9? It got kind of weird because it switched networks. It was a whole thing, and they came back for like 2 more seasons, and it was like,
6 and 7.
It didn't feel the same. That was my issue. But I enjoyed the humor and stuff.
Season 6, so it's got that.
It had that because she came back from heaven, which was how she heaven.
Exactly, and she was like, "Why did you guys bring me back? I was dead and I
in heaven.
was happy, and I was in heaven, and you bring me back to this world." Like that was some serious shit. Anyway.
Such a good one. Oh, it's so good. It's so, and then like that demon, the guy playing this like tap dancing, singing demon. That episode is so goddamn good. Yep. He gets so much makeup on too. It's anyway.
Indeed.
Well, that was Pandora's
like, what the hell?
Yeah. Little had I known, we could have just made this a Buffy episode.
We're starting a sideshow, Buffy show business, so we're just going to watch one episode at a time and review them afterwards.
A lot to talk about with Buffy.
Let me check the release schedule because we might have either, if you guys want a week off, we can go light. We can have a themed episode. That's not for an audience. We can figure that out in the twilight, in the Twitter chat. But what is it? The 18th next week? No, this is this week, 18th. The Nest, The Way I See It, No Escape, Infidel, Ravers.
Yeah.
Wait, Infidel's that Dinesh D'Souza movie. That's still getting a
release? Is it?
Yeah. Starring Jim Caviezel of all goddamn things. Jesus is in Dinesh D'Souza.
So, yeah, we could... I doubt any of those is going to be a heavy hitter. We can figure out something different to do next week. Some of you guys can take the night off. Whatever. We'll talk about that later. But for those of you watching, we'll... if you have suggestions, leave them down in the comments. If you're watching in the future, maybe we'll see what we can do. But other than that...
A lot of documentaries.
Right.
You have a special documentary.
Right. So it's politics time. Have you all at least taken in some of The Fall of Cabal?
I'm about 58 minutes in.
Yeah. I haven't finished it. I needed to puke my insides out for a little bit first.
Got to marinate on it. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, he just throws so much at you. Eventually, you're just like, I need a break.
Yeah. Thoughts, gentlemen, on the.
The editing technique, dude. Yeah, I mean the like editing technique of it, where it's just like, and like just the begrudged, if that's even a word, sort of like, sort of situation in the first two portions, and they're talking about everything from the Fed to reptilians to they go for every sort of proverbial conspiracy aspect that I've heard about from friends of mine who are into that stuff and deeply dive. It was a little tough of a watch, Chauncey, I must say. I got about an hour into it. Actually, it was probably more like 45 minutes, and it was like, I'm not entertained.
I'm not.
It's just
we weren't asking you to join. We weren't asking you to join, Fuego. We just try to trek through it. Lindsey, anything? Yeah.
Ooh, just so, there's just so many moments where I just need, how quickly can I disprove that? And I just hit pause, whip out my phone, Google, 12 seconds. There's the thing proving it.
There's that, and there's the one thing I kept rewinding and going back to was the fucking food code word shit.
Oh, pizza.
First of all, these people are fucking loaded. Do you know what they serve before dinner at these super rich parties? Cheese, really expensive cheeses and crackers. And so in all of these emails, the word cheese pops up. But it's not the way they present it. They want you to believe that cheese is the word for what? A child? A 14-year-old?
I didn't get that far, but this is fascinating.
Lindsey, it's like a slow-moving train wreck, and you're like, what are you talking about? And hot dog means oral sex.
Oh, clearly.
I mean that one part makes sense.
When I go to my local restaurant, Everest, and I say, "Can I get a chili dog with onions?" You know what that means.
Yeah. The one thing, and they're very sneaky. They're very sneaky about time. They don't let you know how much time passes between things. Like this guy who owns that pizzeria. They show a picture of him like he was doing this shit in 2016. The guy's had the fucking pizzeria since 1989. He served George H.W. Bush. He served Bill Clinton. He served George W. Bush, Barack Obama. Nothing about any of that. but oh, God forbid Hillary Clinton eat there and set up a fucking pizza and cake party, then that clearly means that we're gonna have some.
Dude.
And like the moment that broke me, where it's like I can't keep watching this, or at least I need to take a break here, was when they start like doing pull quote. And we talked about this before, show doing pull quotes from goddamn. Oh my God, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Mel Gibson. They start pull quoting Mel Gibson, but they don't even reference his like racism or like the anti-Semitism. And like you're literally just referencing the aspects of this man that support you, and not the aspects of this man that would completely go against the things you're saying. This is such cherry picking.
Listen, I'm all for pointing at both sides, but this is really, really bad. Like this is. Is there a stronger word than propaganda? Because
it's pretty apt. It's propaganda.
I mean, I need a bigger word than propaganda. I really do need a bigger word than propaganda.
Organized douchebaggery.
Yeah, like brainwashing, grooming,
brain grooming.
Yeah, like. Listen,
I would say maybe like inundation. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I guess that's
indoctrination. Probably. Yeah.
That's all I can pull there.
And indoctrination is a great word for it.
I says the stronger word for propaganda is bullshit.
That too.
Nice is on fire tonight.
Like there's some of it where it's like, guys, you don't really believe all of this, do you? Because this is really, really easy to just debunk. And if you want to, row down this river about pedophiles, I really have a sad story for you in regards to the current administration and their friends, because,
yeah. So yeah, they keep going on and on about like all the connections between Epstein and Bill Clinton. Like, yeah, those suck. Bill Clinton might need to be in jail, but you gotta reference Trump if you're gonna bring it up. You have to get the photos, the video.
Yeah. Trump's gonna save us from all that. Oh, there was one time where it wasn't even Trump on the flight. It was actually Bill Clinton. Okay, so what about this picture where they're standing next to each other and fucking laughing? What is that? What is that? Is okay. You just have fun with your nonsense. Nonsense.
Yeah, I was about to say that was a different film that I watched actually about just a different backstage sort of correspondence amongst typical people. So
if it were Dinesh D'Souza or Michael Moore, it could probably be a lot more tricky. It could probably be a lot more tricky, a lot more dangerous. But like if you've seen a couple of documentaries, you can see right through it. Mm-hmm. So they talk about like the paintings that this dude puts up in his pizzeria, which is by a famed artist who's known for doing nudes and all these kind of wacky nudes. And they keep showing picture after picture after picture after picture where it looks like, it's a nude guy eating like another nude guy and whatever. But that is not in the pizzeria. He's a fucking artist, you asshole.
I tried to confirm that. I couldn't, but thank you. Yeah. I was like,
not in the pizzeria. Yeah. Like that's that guy's work. It's like hiring H.R. Giger and being like, well, this guy's got some weird shit going on here, man. Fuck.
Well, I mean, it's just
you not know what to expect.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I just wanted an egg for my Easter store, and this guy's got some aliens all over the walls and shit. It's just such cherry picking and just such obvious. Dangerous. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
And it's spreading.
Because people believe the fucking shit.
Because she presents it like she did the research, and then we said, it's one of those things where it's like, but do your own research. But it's like, so it's kind of this way of, I don't really want you to believe me. I want you to prove. And it's one of those things where the person who wants to believe this is going to believe you and say you pulled a really great argument. I believe you. And Trump's the time traveler who's working with JFK Jr. And and we're gonna everything's great because there's hope because of the pedophiles there and save the children, which they've co-opted on social media, right? So it's it's a very dangerous film, and it's for free on YouTube, and it's like, I think one of the ways to fight that is real, like, facts, like you were just saying, like actual things. That's like, that's not actually true, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing true about what this person is saying, but that's what they do. They take a lot of half truths and then present that and then insert that, propaganda into it and be like, well, this part of history, I just said that. So, I'm talking about something you already know. And here's the other thing that you might not know just to complete the picture. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that part. I knew that part, but I didn't know that part. Right. So you're going along for the ride if you don't know anything.
Yeah, well, essentially you're going in there and you're like, all right, I'm thinking of a number 1 to 10. If she says 3, I'm sold. And then she says 3 and you're like, all right, I believe everything you're saying. You said 3. You must have read my mind. I'm in. But unfortunately, as much as my folks on the left-hand side of the aisle don't like to hear me say, I am a proponent of free speech. This is dangerous. I think we need to curb stuff like this. And on the Second Amendment, we need to curb licensing. I don't want to get into the First and Second Amendment discussion here on show business, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous. People should be able to say what they want, but if it means somebody else running out and doing something that isn't entirely safe, there should be some sort of I don't know, responsibility to somebody just spouting out false bullshit.
No, I'm with you, man. If it perpetuates, if it instigates, that's where we're in grayer area, so to speak.
Yeah. So like I said, man, Jurassic World, best movie in 2015. So
we can talk next time if y'all, because I think who told me about Behind the Curve, so I watched that, so we can talk about that conspiracy theory of the flat Earth later. And how it actually connects to QAnon, which is funny. So so many.
Yeah, there was a great Bad Religion song called "Flat Earth Society."
Wow,
it's hilarious. They just make fun of the. Did you simplicity to
Did you see Mad Mike, whatever the hell his name is, the guy who built a rocket? Chauncey?
No,
yeah, he's dead now. He killed himself this year. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he on one of those rockets he built, he fucking flew up, forgot that the parachute is under the rocket. So the rocket, there's video of it. The rocket goes up and like you could see the parachute is just kind of still on the ground. And from the second one, you're like, that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. And the guy just goes up and comes back down and splat.
No.
Yeah, bad for laughing.
Well,
I mean, it's kind of funny, but yeah, it's bleak.
Yeah, did you see it? Because you got it. I hope you were aware of the risk because
it's like a self-smarted situation. If we're gonna be IP comparing anyway.
Well, I mean, it's how far out there we've gotten. We're both the most educated. I don't know why I put just the weird emphasis there. We're the most educated humans ever, and we also seem to be the stupidest humans ever at the same fucking time.
Yeah. Well, it's like we have so much access to knowledge, we just think we know everything. So
that can't be true. That can't be true.
I mean, you'd think.
How are we? Any news? Any? Can we steer back before we shut her down, or we just want to shut her down? Is there any news left? I felt like I missed one thing regarding something important with like money or something. Did somebody buy somebody? Maybe not. Maybe not.
I know theaters that are showing Tenet are making less than 5,000 a piece this weekend, and that's really bad.
Wait, one more time.
Theaters that are showing Tenet made less than $5,000 off of it a piece, like individual, and that's just really bad because that's not enough to cover costs.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit! Somebody remind me in our Twitter chat. I have numbers. It's if you're interested to know what the cost of food versus just food versus what their display costs are. The price of them showing a movie. I have a chart, and they're not making that much from the movies, and I'll make a better chart for that next time, and we'll look at that next time. Yeah. But there's that.
I can't wait. That sounds awesome. I was about to say,
yeah, it's very it's close. It's very close. Where AMC, if AMC could just figure out something else to do with their buildings, they
paintball.
Yeah, you know what? Just make it maybe dress it a little differently, cut some holes in the walls, and make some escape rooms, like some hardcore dark escape rooms. Like,
that could be cool
with concession stands and shit. Yeah.
People like escape rooms.
Yeah. I don't know. What the hell do I know?
Yeah, extremely interesting in that regard.
All right, so we're good for this week, right? We're good.
Yeah, I think we're kind of running out of steam here. It's a good show.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure there was, because I felt like there was something big that I missed that happened like Tuesday last week, like it always does.
I mean, just a lot of movies getting pushed back. That was the big thing. Yeah. We kind of went over that. I can't think of anything.
Yeah. Maybe we'll if this week is light, we'll do the movie theater thing, and maybe we'll focus on television ahead, because there's a bunch of trailers and stuff for this year in TV, which will not be affected by any of this. If anything, it's there's more intrigue into TV and stuff like that. So, Fuego, what do you got skis on both of your networks?
Yeah. So just did a review of the original 1984 David Lynch Dune. So comparing the original theatrical versus the extended, which I guess was like a TV only sort of situation. And then beyond that, we are continuing the Howling coverage on the horror show throughout the entire week. And I'm about to put together a just Rad Status bit of business with Mike's book reviews, Blue from Cemetery Dance, and we are doing a Stephen King film panel, which is going for Phoenix Spirit Con later next month. So
they're still going through with that,
huh? What's that?
They're still going through with that. Phoenix Spirit.
Is a virtual situation, which a virtual situation, man. And I mean, even like Mad Monster, even Mad Monster is apparently still happening. We are vibing through it as best we can, and we'll see where everything ends up. So
cool. Lindsey, you got another video in store for us?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can hammer out a script for Tenet that I'm proud of enough to actually film. But if I can get that out in the next day or so, definitely going to go for that. Otherwise, I got a whole backlog account. If you want to laugh at all my early stuff, when I talked about how bad some of that is, like, you guys can't even begin to understand how bad some of my early stuff is. It is amusing, though. Go back and watch it. I got years worth of crap you can see.
Your YA stuff is pretty fun.
That actually means a lot to me. Thank you. I put a lot of heart and soul into my YA crap.
Chauncey.
Well, this week I hopefully the reviews I have for the new Shudder film Spiral will probably be coming out this week. My review for it, I think it came out today on Shudder. I think it was September 14th.
Okay, that's not Spiral like Saw Spiral, is it?
No,
Okay.
it's another movie.
I was going to say, what?
Which highlights, it's actually a movie that highlights LGBTQ within it. Like, that's kind of the thing of it. It's a same-sex couple of men who moved to a new neighborhood, and things are kind of weird. And about 25 something years ago, a lesbian couple was sacrificed sacrificed 25 years ago as well. So it's kind of this weird thing about prejudice, but also with like a horror tinge to it, and like this wholesome neighborhood. But it's also like, oh yeah, we welcome, all types of people, but do we really, kind of a thing. So I really enjoyed the trailer of it, which people can see. It's Spiral coming to Shudder, so people can see that trailer. I think if you just basically type it in, but I'll have a review for it sometime this week. And then there's another film called The Devil to Pay. I think it's Uncorked that has this one, and I actually really like the trailer of this one. And it looks really interesting about this Black woman, and she has a son, and her husband disappears. She lives on a small place. I don't know what year it looks kind of maybe be in the past, but not that far in the past, or maybe
Uncorked, giving some shady information. That's crazy. I've never seen that from Uncorked.
And
I've never heard of that from Uncorked before ever.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I really like the trailer. It looks like she's kind of like and this matriarch woman from this billionaire family basically says, "You owe me money," and it's this whole thing. So it's kind of like the devil to pay, and she's like probably having to find out a way to like not pay her back, but like find her husband and also kill these people. So it looked pretty cool, which I was a little surprised. So I'm gonna check it out.
Please. On the Uncorked one, more than anything, please get back to me on that. The other one just sounds like The Burbs meets Poltergeist.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of some cult activity going on with it.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But it looks really interesting. It looks like there's some really good performances in it, and I think it's really cool when you get that representation as well. So going on with it.
As everybody's channel links are down below. Twisted Woman CKR for Chauncey. Fuego, both of his channel links are there in Fuegotainment and the horror show. In Fuegotainment, if you just want Fuego and some non-horror related stuff, horror show for all the horror stuff and the Stephen King related material, and Lindsey's is my 2 cents of nonsense. Myself, you're here. I have it looks like 6.5, 7 scripts. You're gonna have to put up with it. I apologize. They keep rotating my medications, and it's kind of messing with me.
Oh, sure.
And my fuse is a little shorter than usual, so my patience is tested. So I'm going to try my best to do more live stuff until I can figure out the balance of my medication. I greatly appreciate everybody who supports the show, supports this show, supports the channel, supports Emily. We're going through it right now, but I promise we'll get something done, and it'll be worth it. It may just be a landslide at one point, but thank you so much for Fuego, Lindsey, Chauncey, and myself, CP. This has been Show Business. We will see you next week somehow. Bye.
We love you all.